Thank you all for joining us. Today's Penco University lesson is being taught by our Southeast Textile Products and Case Goods Manager, Tony Taylor. Tony has worked in the garment locker industry for 26 years. He first sold mats to the uniform industry and has since sold lockers for Penco for the past 11 years. He is a big Georgia fan and rivals with his wife, who is a big Alabama fan. So thank you so much for being our professor today, Tony.
You're welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the full feature lockers, which are the lockers that we provide for the uniform rental industry. These all have service stores, which allow the route service rep to have access to all the compartments at the same time, which makes the process of swapping out the clean and dirty uniforms much easier and quicker. I'm going to start with the standard 8 compartment locker, and I'm going to be a little more specific on this slide with some of the details like steel gauge, the locks, and how the locks work. But all the garment lockers are the same as far as that information goes. So after that, I'm going to focus more on the differences between each style of locker and when you would want to order that style. So we'll start with the standard 8. We'll start with the standard 8, and this is good for normal thickness garments. The overall width is just 24 inches. So if you don't have a lot of floor space, you might be able to get enough lockers in for all of your employees compared to a big 8, which is almost 7 inches wider. And I'll talk about the big 8 in a couple of minutes. We have holes drilled throughout the locker for ventilation. And one way you can tell if your locker is a standard 8 or big 8 is by counting the holes at the top or the bottom of the locker. The standard 8 has 6 holes going horizontally across the top, and the big 8 has 8 holes. So if you're not sure if you received the right size, you just count the holes going across the top or the bottom, and that will tell you. We use a 24 gauge steel on the side panels, an 18 gauge on the compartment doors, and a 16 gauge on the frame. This puts the thickest and heaviest part of the locker in the front. So you want to keep that in mind if you're moving the locker with a 2-wheel dolly. Personally, if I'm moving a locker with a 2-wheel dolly, I like to put the back of the locker against the dolly. It just balances better. All of our garments have a 3-point latch. So there's a lock bar that runs down the right side of the locker from the top to the bottom. And when you turn the master key to open the master door, and that's the main door that all the compartment doors are attached to, this slides the lock bar up and it unlocks the master door, giving you access to all the compartments at one time. When you close the master door and turn the key back, the lock bar slides back down. And then there's 3 holes in the lock bar that line up with 3 hooks on the frame of the locker, and this locks it back in place in 3 places, one at the top, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. So that's what we mean by the 3 latch system. The steel parts on the lockers are treated with a rust inhibiting coating, but it is steel, and after a while steel will rust if it's exposed to enough water and moisture. So to get the most life out of your lockers, we recommend keeping the lockers inside. The color choices are gray and silver vein. Silver vein is our most popular color because it hides dirt, dust, and graffiti better. It's like a silver and black mix, and gray is a solid color. The price is the same on both colors. The lock choices are cam locks, turn knobs, and combination locks. The cam lock is a keyed lock. Each lock comes with 2 keys. A turn knob is a knob that you can just turn and open it, or you can put a padlock on it and lock it. It has a hole in the bottom of the turn knob, so if you put for the shaft of the padlock to go through. Most don't put a lock on it. But if you do, you want to use a lock that's big enough to fill the hole completely, because if you put one too small, then it still might turn and then you'll be able to open it. The turn knob is our most popular lock because if an employee leaves, you don't have to replace the lock. You can just, like you would a cam lock, you can just let that employee, the new employee, start using that compartment. And even if there was a padlock on it, you can just cut it off with bolt cutters. And then the third type of lock is the combination lock. And these are built into the locker. Each lock comes with 5 possible combinations that you can reset with the combo lock key that comes with the locker. It fits in the keyhole that's in the middle of the turn dial. And you can reset it by putting the key in and turning it while holding the button on the back of the lock at the same time, and then following a couple of more dial turn steps. That resets it to the next combination series. And that same key is also a master key, so you can open each compartment doors by putting the key in that same hole and turning it without holding the button on the back, and it just opens the door. I will say this is the least popular lock, mainly because of the cost. It's expensive compared to the cam locks or the turn knobs anyway. And all of our locks are interchangeable. So if you get keyed locks and you decide you want to get turn knobs later, you can just buy some turn knobs and you can swap them out. It's especially easy if you're swapping out turn knobs and cam locks or vice versa, because you basically just open the master door and pull the lock clip off with some pliers, and then slide the new lock in and then put the lock clip back on. It's really that simple. If you're replacing turn knobs or cam locks with combination locks, there's a few more parts you have to buy for that, and it takes a little bit longer to swap them out, but that can also be done.
Gotcha.
So
that the gray color, it's a smooth finish, and that silver vein, it has a little bit of texture to it, though, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And because the gray is a smooth finish, it's going to pick up a lot more dirt and dust. And if you're in an environment where you have like a lot of, especially like black dust, and you touch the locker or the compartment door, it'll show up a lot better on the gray than it does the silver vein. The silver vein, it's hard to see when that happens. So because of that, it's our most popular color. The silver vein is.
Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Oh, you're welcome. So the next slide is the Big 8. Now this is our most popular locker because it provides 33% more space, and it costs only 12% more than the standard 8. The Big 8 is pretty much a necessity if you have thick garments, but a lot of our customers have went completely with the Big 8 just because they like the extra room. As you can see from the dimensions at the bottom of the page, it's right at 31 inches wide compared to 24 inches wide. So for a standard 8, so you get 7 more inches of overall width, which gives you close to 2 inches per compartment, which may not sound like a lot, but when you have 5 pants and 5 shirts in one compartment, 2 inches could make a pretty big difference in on whether your clothes fit in there easily or they're crammed into a standard 8. So you want to be sure that you get a big enough locker for all your uniforms, because if they are crammed in there too tight, it could put pressure on the side walls of the locker and tension on the lock bar, and that could cause the master door not to open and close properly. Same color options as the standard 8, the gray and the silver vein, and the same lock options as well. The next locker is the 6-compartment locker. The 6th compartment is made out of the same frame as the standard 8, but you only have 6 compartments, so you get a lot more compartment space. The 6th compartment actually has a little more compartment space than the Big 8 even. It's about 1/8 of an inch more. So you might ask, when would be a good time to order a 6-compartment locker? Let's say if you had 12 employees in uniforms, 2 6-compartment lockers would allow you to use all the compartments, whereas you'd have 4 wasted compartments if you bought 2 Big 8s. Also, 6-compartment lockers will take up less floor space in that example, and it does cost a little bit less than 6 compartments do. We are looking into the possibility of having maybe a Big 6, we'll probably call it, which will be made out of a 31-inch Big 8 frame instead of the 24-inch frame that we currently use. This will make the compartments much bigger than the current one. Just to give you an example, that'd give you about 2 inches more compartment space than the current 6 compartment, which is already bigger than the big 6 compartment. So we'll keep you posted on that. The next locker is the 2/2. This is the one that has the most compartment space of any locker we offer. It's made out of the same 24-inch frame that the standard 8 is made out of, but you get 4 compartments instead of 8, so you have twice as much space. So you can actually fit a pair of boots or a hard hat down the bottom of the compartment. So if you have some really thick garments or some jackets, or you just need a locker for your boots or hard hat, this will be a good choice. And like the big 6, we're also looking into offering a big 4, which will be made out of the 31-inch frame. So you get 3.5 inches more space per compartment than the current 2/2. So you can imagine the difference that will make. So we'll keep you posted on the big 6 and the big 4. Next is the soil lockers, and we'll start with the mini soil. We have 3 sizes: the mini, standard, and the maxi. On the mini stands about waist high, so it fits in a lot of tight spaces when you have limited room. That said, most people use the mini for repairs. For example, a zipper breaks or a button falls off. It's a good place to put those garments until the route service rep comes to pick them up. Then you have the standard laundry lockup, which is same width as the mini, but it's 80 inches high, so it's about 6.5 feet tall. Situation where you might order a standard laundry lockup would be if you only had a few employees, like maybe 6 or 8, and you have limited floor space. The maxi soil locker is our most popular locker by far because it holds 33% more than the standard, and it's only about 10% more in price. So we recommend a maxi laundry lockup for every 3 to 4 8-compartment lockers. This is just a guideline because if you have really thick garments, you might need more than that, or if you service the account more than once a week, you might need less. But 3 to 4 8 compartments per maxi is a pretty good guideline to use. And all of our laundry lockups come with an H1 master lock, which is the one with the key. But a lot of people forget that you can get a turn knob for the master lock. And the reason you might want to consider a turn knob for a soil locker instead of a key lock is one of the most common problems that we hear in the field with soil lockers is the master door not staying closed anymore. It was working fine for a while, and then when you close it, it pops back open. And almost every time what has happened is an employee puts his dirty uniforms in and then realizes he left his keys or wallets in his pants, and there's no one around with a master key, and he needs his car key so he can get home. What he does is he'll put his hand on the inside of the, just below the swing door. He'll get a good grip on the master door, and then he'll snatch it open. And whether he's successful getting it open or not, when he pulls that hard on the door, it's going to bend the lock bar, and then the door is never going to close right after that. So one way to avoid this is just by putting a turn knob on there instead of a keyed lock. And that way, if he needs to get in there and get his keys or wallets, he can just turn the knob and open the door, and he don't have to break in. So the next product, this is one of my favorites, is the Back Saver Garment Lift. This is an accessory to the maxi soil locker. This lifts the garments up to waist high so that the service rep doesn't have to bend over when he's getting close to the bottom of the pile. And if you think about how many stops a route rep makes during the day and how many times he has to bend over picking up mats and garments, the risk for back problems or even back injuries is pretty high. The garment lift cuts down on the number of times he has to bend over, and it's especially helpful if you have an account where you're having to scan each garment one at a time. It fits in the holes that are already drilled into the maxi laundry lockup. So if you want to put them in the lockers that you already have in inventory. You can just buy them by the case. They're packaged 5 per case. It comes with instructions on how to install, but it's really pretty simple. You just open the master door and put the 4 spring hooks in the holes in the back and side panels. You do want to be sure you put them in the correct holes, though, but that'll be indicated in the instructions. But you have to have a 6-inch downward slant towards the back of the soil locker so that the clothes don't fall out when you open the master door. If it's for a new account, you can order the garment lift when you order the maxi, and we'll put the lift in for you. And then when the route guy opens the master door for the first time, the lift is already there and ready to go. So that would be the way to go if you can. If you happen to have a maxi soil locker that if they're not Pencos, then let us know. We can send you a template to show you where to drill the holes to make it work. So that's the Back Saver garment lift. Next product is the Linen Control Center. This is originally designed for stacking linen, but it's hardly ever purchased for that reason anymore. Most people buy it for bulk storage to hang chef coats and lab coats. You have several different options. One common way is like you see in the picture with the 2 hanging bars and a shelf, but also commonly ordered is just the 1 bar at the top only, no bar and shelf in the middle, which makes it perfect for hanging long lab coats, for example. It comes with an H1 master lock, like most of our lockers do, but you do have the option to get a turn knob, and I'd recommend that if you're using it for bulk storage and you want everybody to be able to access it without a key. They can just turn the knob and they open the door and get out what they need. But if you don't want everybody to have access, then you can get the H1 master lock, which comes with it, and order some extra H1 keys for the ones you want to have that access. It's the same width as the Big 8, about 31 inches wide, and it holds about 30 to 40 lab coats. That's for 1 bar, or chef coats. So if you're using both bars, you can get about 60 to 80 lab coats or chef coats in there. The next product is my favorite because it's just so handy and convenient, and not just for the service rep, but for the user too. It's mostly used for the shop towel storage. The top part is open, so you can just throw the clean shop towels in the top, and you don't have to fold them. It'll hold them estimated about 450 shop towels. It has a downward slant, so the clean shop towels just slide down toward the rectangular opening that you see in the front towards the top. The user just pulls the shop towels out one at a time as he needs them. The bottom has a swing door chute for the dirty shop towels, and there's a built-in adjustable bag stand so that the dirty shop towels go right into the bag. This one comes with a turn knob, so the route guy can just turn the knob and open the bottom part and pull out the dirty shop towels, which are already in the bag. And on the back, there's a handle and 2 wheels where you can just tilt it back and roll it around and just move it wherever you need it. So it's really convenient, like I said, for both the service rep and the user. We can even get creative on this. Yeah, we can even get creative on this product. I have one customer that uses this for microfiber mop storage. Those are little thin mops. He stores a specific amount of microfiber mops in the top, and he asked us to leave out the built-in bag stand, and he uses the bottom for his clean bulk storage, which he keeps locked up with a padlock. He has also latched the swing door shut for the sole, so that you can't access the bottom without unlocking the padlock, and that's how he controls his inventory. So if you have any ideas like this with any of our products, don't be afraid to ask, because we can be flexible, especially when we're only having to make a few minor changes to a product to make something work, kind of like in this example. We have 10 distribution centers in the United States from where we ship from, as you can see on the map. There's several advantages to having multiple locations like this. For one, your lockers are traveling from a shorter distance, so there's less freight time. Most of our locations can get to the end user in 1 day, but 2 days at the most. And then almost there's a less chance of freight damage because the lockers are not stopping at several different terminals along the way and transferring lockers from truck to truck. And then you also, if you have a large order, especially, let's say you have an order for 100 lockers and you need them to arrive in 7 or 8 working days, well, that's a lot of lockers. That would be a push for us to try to get that many lockers out of one warehouse. But with multiple warehouses like this, we can split the order up possibly and ship 50 from one warehouse and 50 from another, and might be able to get the lockers there when you need them, even if it's a short period of time like that and a lot of lockers. So it gives us a lot more options. The locations you see with the star beside it are the ones where the Penco truck is available. So we have a Penco truck service in 8 out of the 10 warehouses. So if your order qualifies, which is usually 3 or more lockers up to 100 miles or 10 or more up to 200 miles, then you can choose to get the Penco truck delivery. And this means that the delivery team will unbox the lockers and they'll put them in place for you. Whereas a common carrier will just leave the lockers on the dock and you'll have to put them in place yourself. So this is a big convenience because if you don't have to set up the lockers yourself, and you don't have to worry about freight damage because it's our own people handling the lockers. So shipping guidelines, as you can see from the chart, most of your orders are going to ship in 3 to 4 days. 21 to 30 lockers is 4 days with a common carrier and 5 days with Penco truck. It's an extra day on the large orders like that for the Penco truck for scheduling reasons, but the ship date for the Penco truck is also the delivery day because there's no transit time. We're actually delivering on the same day that we're shipping, so it balances out. And then there's 31 or more lockers. Just depends on how many lockers you're talking about, but most of these will ship within 2 weeks. Field support, Frank Berlino is our Director of Sales. Bob Brett covers the Northeast. Mike Rochon covers the Midwest. I cover the Southeast. And Randy Poland covers the West Coast, and Eves handles Canada. Between the 6 of us, we have 91 years of experience in just the uniform rental locker business. And most of us are in the uniform rental business like I was even before that, so not including that. I can speak for everyone here to say that we're available 24/7 with anything you need or any questions you have. We also have a very experienced customer service staff. Jenna is fairly new, but doing a great job. But Randon and Zoanne have been with Penco ever since we moved to Greenville 7 years ago. Greenville, North Carolina is where our customer service office is. So a lot of experience on the customer service side as well. So this includes Garment Locker 101 training, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Tony. That was very informative for somebody like myself who has not really studied that TPCG line. I really appreciate all that insight. I did not know that you could get into each locker with one master key there, on the storage product side. It's an individual locker basis, so that's pretty interesting. And I really appreciate all that. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
This recording and all of our other recordings are available here on the Penco University website. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Tony or any member of that TPCG team. And again, like Tony said, our customer service representatives are available to answer questions via email or phone call. And we appreciate your time, and thank you so much. Have a great day.